The Diamond Sutra, formerly known as the Vajra Prajnaparamita Sutra, is one of the most important scriptures in Buddhism and has been highly revered since ancient times. This scripture is not only regarded as the core practice method of Zen Buddhism, but also, due to its profound yet accessible philosophy and clear, incisive language, has become a guide for countless practitioners seeking liberation and wisdom. Throughout Chinese history, from the sixth patriarch Huaining of the Tang dynasty to the modern venerable master Xiyun, many eminent monks and virtuous masters have revered the Diamond Sutra as a precious treasure, believing it embodies profound wisdom that connects and permeates the Dharma. However, the influence of the Diamond Sutra is not limited to the religious domain. Its philosophy also holds significant practical value in everyday life. This scripture emphasizes the arising of the mind without attachment, breaking through clinging, and teaches people to maintain a clear and calm mindset amidst the complexities of the world, thereby finding inner stability. This philosophy, whether in ancient times or the modern era, has guided countless individuals out of confusion and helped them reconstruct themselves, like a flickering light in the darkness, pointing the way. Throughout history, numerous touching stories about the Diamond Sutra have been passed down, among which the most praised is its miraculous power to resolve disasters and bring about blessings and good karmic conditions in times of crisis. In the Buddhist scripture Ratnaka Sutra, it is recorded that during years of calamity and festive seasons, people recite the Diamond Sutra to pray for blessings and to avert disasters. There is a story that not only reveals the sacred power of the Dharma, but also helps people understand that true blessings arise from inner cultivation and the unfolding of wisdom. During the Jingguan era of the Tang dynasty, a young merchant named Wang Mingyuan lived in the city of Chang'an. He was originally born into an official family, but due to the decline of his household, he faced hardships and could only barely make a living by trading small goods. Daily, he traversed in and out of the city, often enduring the hardships of eating in the wind and sleeping under the open sky. One evening, after completing a business deal in a distant place, Wang Mingyuan hurriedly set off to return to Chang'an. Just as he was walking through a wilderness, dark clouds rolled in, and a torrential downpour began. With nowhere to take shelter, he fled in panic. From a distance, I could vaguely see an old, dilapidated temple by the roadside. Although the temple was in a pitiful state, it was still better than being soaked by the wind and rain. He stumbled as he ran over, pushed open the creaking wooden door, and was instantly astonished by the scene before him. The temple courtyard is overgrown with weeds, and the roof of the main hall is damaged, with rainwater dripping through the cracks onto the ground, producing a crisp sound. In the midst of this desolate atmosphere, a dimly flickering oil lamp casts a faint glow upon an elderly monk with white hair seated serenely beneath it. With eyes closed and hands gently lowered, he held a sutra in his hands, softly chanting its words, seemingly oblivious to the clamor of the outside world. "Lay practitioner, please take shelter from the rain nearby." The elderly monk did not raise his head, but his voice was aged yet gentle, instilling an immediate sense of reassurance. Wang Mingyuan cautiously entered the main hall, took off his drenched outer garment, and respectfully bowed to the elderly monk. His gaze was drawn to the sutra. The cover of the book had already yellowed, with slightly curled corners, yet it emitted a peculiar radiance. "Master, what sutra is this?" Wang Mingyuan couldn't help but ask. "Diamond Sutra." The old monk slowly raised his head, his gaze kind and profound. "This is a sutra of wisdom. Has the Blessed One ever heard of this?" Wang Mingyuan nodded, then shook his head. He had indeed heard of the famous Diamond Sutra, but had never truly understood its content. The old monk smiled gently and said, "The Diamond Sutra teaches one to break attachment and see through illusions. If one recites it with sincere heart, one can find clarity amid the fog. Especially in these turbulent times, it can help people establish peace and stability in their lives." Wang Mingyuan listened with a half-understood mind, Yet the old monk's words brought him an inexplicable sense of tranquility. He spent the night in the temple. The sound of rain accompanied the old monk's chanting, as if immersing the entire world in a profound tranquility. At the break of dawn, Wang Mingyuan awoke to find himself in a pavilion. Morning light streamed into the main hall, but despite searching all around, he could not find the old monk anywhere. However, on the dim table before the Buddha statue, he found the worn-out Diamond Sutra. He carefully cupped the sutra in his hands, feeling a faint sense in his heart that this might be some kind of predestined arrangement. After returning home, Wang Mingyuan began to recite the Diamond Sutra daily. At the beginning, he merely recited the scriptures mechanically, word by word. The profound wisdom within the text was as incomprehensible to him as a celestial script. However, he persisted unwaveringly, believing that since fate had brought him to encounter this sutra, he should strive to comprehend its meaning to the fullest. As the days of recitation passed one by one, he gradually noticed subtle changes occurring in his state of mind. He no longer feels agitated by the trivial matters of daily life, and when faced with difficult customers, he is able to respond calmly and with equanimity. He began to realize that many of the emotions troubling him originated from his own attachments. He recalled the old monk's teaching about breaking attachment, so he earnestly tried to no longer be entangled in gain and loss, but instead focused on each moment in the present. His transformation not only brought him a sense of ease, but also caused those around him to look at him with renewed respect. A few months later, Wang Mingyuan encountered the first major business opportunity of his life, a batch of high-quality silk from the south, available at an exceptionally low price. However, if he intends to purchase the entire batch of goods, he will require a substantial amount of capital. Faced with this opportunity, he hesitated for a long time. On one hand, he clearly understood that this could be an opportunity for a turnaround. On the other hand, he feared that failure would burden him with even heavier karmic debts. He tossed and turned, picked up the Diamond Sutra, and began to chant. When reading, one should give rise to that mind which does not abide anywhere. His mind seemed to be awakened, as if enlightened. Since attachment to outcomes cannot change destiny, why not let go of worries and boldly give a try? With this mindset, Wang Mingyuan decided to borrow money to purchase this batch of silk. Unexpectedly, this transaction not only earned him his first pot of gold in life, but also, due to his integrity and insight, led him to establish connections with a group of quite influential business friends. Since then, his business gradually got on the right track, with a continuous flow of customers, and he was consequently known as the most trustworthy merchant in Chang'an. However, Wang Mingyuan consistently maintained the habit of reciting the Diamond Sutra every morning and evening. He did not believe that these achievements were entirely attributable to himself, but regarded the wisdom in the scriptures as a guiding light for life. Shortly thereafter, the city of Chang'an was struck by a severe drought, causing the crops to fail entirely, and many households ran out of food. Wang Mingyuan looked at the starving child on the street, his heart filled with compassion. He opened his granary and distributed large quantities of stored grain to those in need at low prices or even for free. Someone asked him, "Aren't you afraid of losing money by doing this?" Wang Mingyuan smiled and said, "The wealth in this world is merely fleeting smoke. Only the kindness in our hearts can truly endure. The Diamond Sutra teaches me not to cling to gain or loss. As long as I can help everyone overcome difficulties, what does this small loss matter?" Wang Mingyuan's virtuous deeds not only provided sustenance for countless impoverished people, but also spread his reputation far and wide. A few years later, Wang Mingyuan had become a well-known monk in the city of Chang'an. His shop was well-stocked, managed with wisdom, and customers came and went continuously. However, despite the continuous accumulation of wealth, he consistently maintained a humble and low-key attitude, never forgetting to recite the Diamond Sutra daily. He said, "This scripture has taught me to remain unattached to things and unafraid of hardships. True wealth is not gold and silver treasures, but the tranquility and wisdom of the mind. One day, a sudden great fire broke out in Chang'an City. The flames raged fiercely, thick smoke billowed, and the wind further fueled the spread of the fire. The townspeople were panic-stricken and fled their homes in all directions. The great fire quickly spread to the vicinity of Wang Mingyuan's shop. His assistants were frantic, rushing around trying to move the goods, but they saw Wang Mingyuan still seated inside the shop, calmly reciting the Diamond Sutra, his expression serene and without a trace of panic. "Boss, the fire is rushing toward us. How can you remain so calm?" The worker couldn't help but urge. Wang Mingyuan looked up and smiled faintly. "The flames are fierce. How can we ordinary people possibly stop them? Why not calm our hearts and sincerely pray that everything unfolds harmoniously?" He spoke, then closed his eyes and continued chanting the sutras, his voice calm yet resolute. Remarkably, as the flames approached his shop, the wind suddenly shifted, causing the fire to bypass the shop and continue spreading elsewhere. When the great fire was extinguished, the surroundings were all charred black, yet his shop alone remained intact and unharmed. This matter quickly spread throughout the entire city, and people all said that Wang Mingyuan had received the protection of the Dharma. One day, Wang Mingyuan once again saw the old monk from those years ago in a dream. The old monk said, "Do you know why you encountered the Diamond Sutra at that particular time? All things in heaven and earth have their own seasons and conditions. Now it has come to a special season once again. Good men, good women. If someone were to fill the 3,000 great thousand worlds with the 7 treasures through almsgiving, it would not compare to holding this sutra, reciting even just 4 lines of verse, teaching it to others, or praying for their blessings." The moment he saw this passage of scripture, it was as if he had returned to that rainy night, with every word of the old monk echoing in his ears. That night, Wang Mingyuan remained unable to fall asleep for a long time. He got up, lit the oil lamp, and reopened the Diamond Sutra, only to find that the characters in the scripture seemed to be faintly glowing. He recalled the dim oil lamp he saw many years ago in the dilapidated temple, and the sound of the old monk chanting sutras beneath the lamp still lingered in his ears. Early the next morning, Wang Mingyuan decided to visit the dilapidated temple again. Many years have passed, and the temple has been renovated anew, flourishing with abundant incense offerings. He encountered a young monk sweeping the floor in front of the main hall. "Do you know the origin of this temple?" Wang Mingyuan asked. The young monk paused his broom, listening to the elders recount that long ago a venerable and highly respected master lived here. He took no disciples and paid no heed to worldly matters, spending his days solely reciting the Diamond Sutra. One rainy night, a merchant encountered him and was enlightened, after which his business flourished. Later, that merchant donated funds to renovate the temple. Upon hearing this, Wang Mingyuan felt a sudden stirring in his heart. Over the years, his story had already been circulating among the people, yet he had never told anyone about that night's experience. It remains unknown who was the one to spread it. This reminded him of the old monk he had met years ago in the dilapidated temple. At that time, the old monk once said, "The season and conditions follow one another, accompanied by merit and virtue." Now he finally understands the profound meaning of this phrase. In the Buddhist calendar, each year holds special significance, especially during certain specific periods when the merits of reciting scriptures and practicing cultivation are greatly multiplied. This is just like choosing the appropriate season to plant crops. Cultivation must also seize the auspicious timing. According to the Buddhist scripture, Mahaprajnaparamita Sutra, reciting prajna-related scriptures during specific auspicious times can yield 10-fold, 100-fold, or even 1,000-fold merits. The first month of the lunar year 2025 is precisely such an auspicious time, marked by the perfect harmony of celestial timing, earthly energy, and human accord. From the perspective of temporal conditions, in the first month of this year, on the 7th day, the sun, moon, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth elements move to specific positions, forming a rare and auspicious configuration. From the perspective of Earth's energy, as the Earth's vitality arises and all beings revive, it is precisely the optimal season for practice. From the perspective of human relations, at this moment, people's hearts incline toward goodness, and through collective prayers, a powerful force of benevolent intention can be formed. The various wondrous conditions experienced by Wang Mingyuan are precisely the grasping of the world's conditions at that time. The special period of the first month in 2025 also holds a profound opportunity for transformative blessings. This is not merely about seeking good fortune and avoiding misfortune. Rather, it involves elevating one's mind through the recitation of sutras, thereby initiating an inner transformation. An important concept in the Diamond Sutra is arise the mind without attachment. This sentence means that when we do anything, we should not cling to a fixed idea or expectation. True transformation of fortune lies in the change of the mind, not in the alteration of external circumstances. At that moment, a gentle breeze blew by, and Wang Mingyuan seemed to hear someone reciting the Diamond Sutra, the voice faint yet distinctly familiar. He followed the sound and arrived at a small garden in the temple's rear courtyard. In the garden, there is an ancient Bodhi tree, beneath which lies a worn stone that appears to have been frequently used for meditation. This Bodhi tree must be quite old, right? Wang Mingyuan asked the young monk who had accompanied him. It is said to be several hundred years old. The elder monks say that this was personally planted by that venerable master back in the day. The stone under the tree is the place where he usually meditates and chants sutras. The young monk said, adding that on special days, this tree emits a unique radiance. Wang Mingyuan walked into the Bodhi tree grove, gently touching the rough bark. He recalled the old monk's words, seasonal conditions and karmic causes always accompany blessings and virtue. Suddenly, he understood a profound truth. Chanting sutras is not for seeking worldly rewards, but for purifying one's own mind. When a person's mind is elevated, they naturally attract auspicious connections. This is the true, profound secret of transformation contained within the Diamond Sutra. This principle is precisely why the great masters of successive generations have placed special emphasis on reciting the Diamond Sutra during significant occasions. They deeply understand that seizing the auspicious and rare opportunities can make their practice twice as effective with half the effort. According to the Diamond Sutra, all the merits and virtues cultivated by bodhisattvas are intended to be perfected in fullness. Likewise, corresponding to the perfection of wisdom, prajnaparamita, this exactly teaches us that on the path of practice, we must understand how to grasp the timely opportunities and conditions, kika and praditya samutpada. And the first month of the lunar year 2025 presents such a rare opportunity. In this special season, reciting the Diamond Sutra not only grants us the illumination of wisdom, but also aids us in realizing inner transformation. Just like the Bodhi tree, which radiates a unique brilliance during specific seasons. In the heart of each of us grows a Bodhi tree. With attentive nurturing, one day it will blossom with the light of wisdom. The Diamond Sutra is the most excellent Dharma language to nourish this Bodhi tree.